The envelope trembled in her hands as laughter still echoed across the garden. Fairy lights shimmered above crystal glasses, roses perfumed the warm evening air, and a birthday cake waited to be cut. Yet in the center of it all, beneath the golden glow of celebration, her world shattered in silence. On the front of the envelope was her name. Inside were divorce papers. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet strength of a good heart, take a moment right now to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that dignity and grace always have the final word. Ariana stood frozen on the manicured lawn of the estate she thought was her home. She had planned this evening herself, not to impress anyone, but to bring family together. She wore a simple sapphire dress, her hair pulled back elegantly, her smile soft and sincere. For years, she had tried to be the perfect wife to Daniel and a loving daughter-in-law to his formidable mother, Veronica. She had endured subtle criticisms about her humble upbringing, the way she set the table, even the way she laughed. Still, she had chosen grace over pride every single time. But tonight, Veronica had chosen humiliation. In front of colleagues, friends, and extended family, Veronica pressed the envelope into Ariana's hands with a thin, victorious smile. Daniel stood a few feet away, his jaw tight, his eyes avoiding Ariana's. The silence that followed was heavier than any insult. Ariana's fingers slowly unfolded the papers. The words blurred, but the meaning was unmistakable. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Gasps rippled through the guests. Somewhere in the background, the string quartet faltered. The twin girls, Daniel's nieces who adored Ariana, clung to each other in confusion, their bright yellow dresses now a sharp contrast to the darkness settling over the evening. Ariana felt the sting of betrayal more deeply than the public embarrassment. She had sensed distance in Daniel over the past year. Late nights, guarded phone calls, his mother whispering into his ear about ambition and legacy. Ariana, a quiet philanthropist who spent her days volunteering at women's shelters and funding scholarships anonymously, had never cared for wealth or status. She believed love was built on loyalty and shared dreams, not bank accounts and family power. What none of them knew, what Ariana had carefully protected for years, was that she was not the naive, dependent wife Veronica believed her to be. Long before she met Daniel, Ariana had inherited a private holding company from her grandfather, a visionary investor who had quietly built a $17 billion empire across renewable energy, biotech, and real estate. He had raised Ariana after her parents passed away and taught her that true power was never loud, it was responsible, it was compassionate, it was discreet. When she married Daniel, she chose not to reveal the extent of her wealth. She wanted to be loved for who she was, not for what she owned. She signed a modest prenuptial agreement at Veronica's insistence, smiling gently as the older woman smirked at what she assumed was a small safety net. Ariana never corrected her. She believed marriage was a partnership of hearts, not a merger of assets. Now, as she stood surrounded by judgmental stares and whispering guests, the humiliation burned, but it did not break her. Daniel finally stepped forward, but not to comfort her. His silence was confirmation enough. Ariana understood then that he had allowed this spectacle, perhaps even orchestrated it. The realization hurt more than the papers in her hand. She excused herself calmly, walking past the stunned crowd, past the cake that would never be cut, and into the house. In the privacy of her bedroom, she let the tears fall, not for the loss of a mansion or social status, but for the love she thought was real. That night, Ariana called her legal advisor, a man who had known her grandfather and understood the magnitude of her quiet empire. The next morning, the tone of the story began to shift. News travels quickly in elite circles, but financial disclosures travel faster. When Daniel's attorney received Ariana's formal response, the atmosphere changed. Hidden within carefully structured trusts and corporations was the truth. Ariana was the sole owner of assets worth $17 billion. And because Daniel had insisted years ago on a prenup that protected family wealth from the spouse, the irony was devastating. The agreement shielded Ariana's fortune completely. Veronica, who had assumed Ariana would leave with nothing but a bruised ego, was confronted with a reality she never imagined. The mansion they lived in was partially funded through an investment partnership Ariana controlled. Several of Daniel's business ventures had quietly received capital injections from anonymous sources, sources that were, in fact, Ariana's foundation. Within weeks, the power dynamic flipped. Ariana did not seek revenge. She did not call press conferences or expose secrets. Instead, she quietly withdrew her investments from ventures tied to Daniel's family. She redirected her philanthropic focus, expanding scholarship programs, opening 2 new shelters, and funding a pediatric wing at a regional hospital. Her wealth, once invisible, now became a force for undeniable good. Daniel attempted reconciliation when the truth surfaced. Apologies arrived too late and too rehearsed. Ariana listened with the same calm dignity she had always carried, but something inside her had changed. Love without respect was not love at all. The final court hearing was brief. The judge commended the clarity of the prenuptial agreement. Ariana walked out, not as a discarded wife, but as a woman fully restored to herself. Months later, on what would have been her anniversary, Ariana hosted another gathering. This time it wasn't at the estate she once shared with Daniel. It was at the grand opening of a community innovation center funded entirely by her foundation. The twin girls attended with their parents and ran to hug her, their laughter genuine and unburdened. Ariana knelt to their height and smiled, realizing that love had not left her life. It had simply changed form. She learned that wealth does not protect you from heartbreak, but character protects you from losing yourself. She learned that silence can be strength, and that dignity is louder than humiliation. Most importantly, she learned that sometimes betrayal is the painful doorway to freedom. Before this story ends, I want to ask you something special. If Ariana's journey moved you, comment the word grace below. Let it be a reminder that kindness is never weakness. And if this story touched your heart even a little, please like, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps more stories of hope and resilience reach people who may need them most. Because in the end, Ariana did not win because she was worth $17 billion. She won because she knew her true value long before anyone else did.